This episode of Our Brains Hurt is brought to you by Snubbed Coffee. If you like punk rock and great coffee, head over to punkrockjoe.com and get yourself caffeinated. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to another episode of Our Brains Hurt with Ron and Matt. Thanks for hanging out.
What's going on, everyone? Thanks for hanging out. Tonight we are talking to Brien Stewart, the lead singer for Ruin by Design. And we will get to Brien in a second, but first, a couple announcements to make. Go ahead and check out our Patreon page. We have a Patreon now where you could sign up, go to Our Brains Hurt, just Google it on Patreon, and you could get some extra footage from our podcast, some extra audio, extra video. The only place you could find video from the podcast actually is on the Patreon. And you could also send us questions that we will ask the guests. So you could be part of the show that way, and you get a special gift after being a patron for 2 months. So go ahead and check it out. It's $5 a month. I know times are shitty right now for a lot of people, but if you could afford it, go ahead and check it out. Our Brains Hurt on Patreon. And as usual, check us out on all social media outlets, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Our Brains Hurt. Go check us out there. Give us a follow. It would be greatly appreciated. We're trying to raise our social media numbers up. So go do us that favor and then come back and listen to us. And let's see. So with that out of the way, here is Brien Stewart, lead singer of Ruin by Design.
Oh, there's Brien right there.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Dude, I had a great day today. How about you?
I mean, I can't say I had a terrible day. It would be more towards the great side of the world.
Nice.
Yeah. Mine was all right. I had to work, but whatever.
Yeah, me too.
But, you know.
I didn't.
Oh, nice.
You can't complain about having a job these days. So,
No.
So what's going on, man? Like, so Matt was telling me that you were one of the first or the first singer of Avail.
Yeah, that is true. We started in 1988 and out of Reston, Virginia, and in my basement. So
I know that's how Brien and I have a connection, which Ron was just asking me, like how you and I like know each other. And we met at a show, we played together, and we both are from Fairfax, Virginia, in a very close place, and just ended up telling stories to each other and figured some shit out or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And it was a neat time back then, that's for sure, you know.
So is that where you grew up from a young kid, Reston?
I moved to Reston when I was 10. Okay. And I lived there. So that'd be like 5th, 6th grade, all the way through high school. And I ended up moving out of there when I was about 21. So, I mean, I lived there, I would say most of my kid life, you know.
Cool. What was the punk scene?
I kind of moved around a lot.
Was there a punk scene around there, like when you were in high school? And if there was, what was it like?
Yeah, there was. It was really kind of neat. I was, when I was in like probably 5th, 6th or 7th grade, around that time, they used to have these Battle of the Band things, like DC 101 would present these Battle of the Bands, you know, and I would go to the Reston Community Center with my friends on our skateboards, and they would have, you know, live bands play. And there was, you know, rock bands, but there was a couple of punk bands, you know, this band Pudwhack and some other punk bands. And I didn't really know much about punk at the time. You know, I had seen stuff in movies and kind of had an idea, you know, but they were really interesting to me. And so as I got a little older, and especially when we got in like 9th grade, and, you know, when I was in 7th and 8th grade, I was going to Langston Hughes, and we'd be in the bus looking out the window at the high school and the high school kids. And there'd be like guys standing there on the corner smoking cigarettes with spiked hair and, you know, like Billy Idol on 10, you know, and we were just blown away. I was just like, what is that? That's amazing. You know? And so I knew they existed, you know, but I just couldn't believe it, you know, and my friend Johnny Gorgone, who was in 7th grade and I was in 8th grade, and we were on recess and looking over at the high school, and I was like, look at those guys, man. Look at those guys. Cause they were right on the corner. We could see them, you know, from the gym class. And Johnny was so cool. And he goes, "Oh yeah, that's my friend Andy Bunn. You don't know him?" And I'm like, "No, man. I'm like a kid. Like he's in high school, you know." So he's like, "Oh, I can. You know, Johnny was already into punk like in 7th grade."
Nice.
And I was like, you know, my favorite band was Motley Crue. You know, I was I was like, whoa, you know. So it was really cool, you know. So I knew they were around. And, you know, as, you know, you get into high school and you see them around now you're in the same school and they're kind of getting ready to graduate. But man, they were around and it was really cool. You know, they were the real deal, like GBH punks, you know, like crass punks, you know,
right.
Like with real charged hair and bad skin, like the whole show. It was
crusty
amazing.
Punks,
really smelly. It was killer.
That's kind of funny because, like, you know, as we talked, me growing up in the same area that you kind of did, the first person that introduced me to Avail was like this, like, kind of punk rock dude who had like an old VW Beetle, like from the 80s, that he had like put a Porsche engine in.
Nice.
And, like, had pipes coming out the back and like big wheels.
Like a Baja Bug or something.
Totally. It was like totally fucking punk rocked out. Like totally.
Nice.
That's the guy who introduced me to Avail. Like, and it was like right around the time when I guess Avail was making the change from like Fairfax to Richmond.
Yeah. From Reston.
Yeah.
That was so I definitely knew there was a scene. I had seen some of these guys in bands. They weren't very nice. I will say that they weren't very supportive, you know, like during our reign, like when we were, you know, really coming into our own and our scene was really kind of developing our own scene with, you know, people in our class, we were way more like supportive and encouraging. Cause I just remember being in 9th grade and just getting messed with.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were trying to be punk. We were putting safety pins in our clothes and, you know, we were just trying to do stuff. Like we were all skaters.
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, I knew Steve Caballero played bass in The Faction and I loved JFA and, you know, all of that stuff already. But man, I was just so sort of torn up. I was like, oh man, here we are now. And they were just awful to us and made fun of us. And so I remember making a promise to myself, like when I was in 9th grade going, I'll never do that. I will never, you know, when I get to be 10th and 11th grade, I will never talk down to some kid, whatever, you know, and I've pretty much maintained that, you know, even today at shows, you know, there's always, you know, I mean, I'm in my 50s now and there's always some old codger around my age going, man, these kids today aren't punk. They don't even know what punk rock is and blah, blah, blah. And I just get so fussy and I'm like, you know what? That kid is 14 or 16 and he's got a real mohawk and that means something to him, just like it meant something to us. So how dare you, you know, piss on that guy's parade, you know? And the truth is and the truth is if you weren't then, you aren't. And if you're not now, then you might not have been then. That's the kind of the way I look at it. You know, it's not a hairdo. It's a lifestyle, my man. You know, so I get real bent out of shape.
Yeah. We need those kids coming up, man. Like you can't, that stuff should not be discouraged at all. So
yeah. Well, and also it's like, don't make fun of them. You know, there's no book on how to be a punk rocker. Like where do you develop this attitude? You know, I don't know. Just comes out of somewhere, you know. I had a guy actually come to my house and school me, you know. I'm putting out this book, right? It should be out in March, and I tell a lot of stories about my experience, sort of into the whole realm of this punk rock thing. I mean, it really came and visited me at my house and like gave me a 101 lesson, like very early, and I wrote it all out, and it's a pretty funny read, you know.
What's it called? So, talk about it. Plug it.
It'll be out.
Plug it, man. Plug the book right now.
So it's a book I've been working on for quite a while now. The book's going to be called Aim to Reach, and I'm hoping to have it out in March. It's probably about 90 to 100 pages, and it's really a 35-year journey, you know, and it really starts in 1986 when this guy comes to my house, and the first chapter is called Some Punk Kid Saved My Life, you know, and we, you know, we're hanging out and then it kind of goes through all the different bands that I've been in. So it goes from Avail lyrics and little insights and some short stories, all the way up to the band I'm in now, Ruin by Design. And it covers, everything in between. I was in a band called Lickety Split for several years, and I was in a band called BSR and a band called The Key Figures. And so there's lyrics, 35 years of lyrics and little short insights and stories and stuff. And then some a little longer stories. And, there's a story of how Avail started. There's the story, this one time when I went to California, that's a ridiculous story that, any parent would cringe if their kid did what I did. I know as a parent, if one of my kids did that, our daughter is like 29 and she goes, man, if I ever did that, Dad would just like go crazy, Yeah. So it's really funny. But so that's coming out in March. And that's going to be, I'm really excited about that. There's going to have old flyer art, and it's going to have, like I said, short stories. And it really does cover 35 years, not only of my punk rock journey and poetry, but there's also a book of recovery, and it's a book of all kinds of things that I went through. I spent several years in the foster care system before I was adopted at 10. I'm in recovery now, and it talks a lot about, my journey in recovery and before recovery. And it's pretty neat book. I'm hoping it'll go over well. And if it doesn't, I'll have a copy for myself and I'll enjoy having that, and that'll be a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
So.
Where would people be able to get it when it comes out? Do you know yet?
Well, it's a label called Settle For It Records is putting it out. They put out some of the Ruin by Design stuff. A guy named Kurt Foster runs the label, and he's also the drummer by design and drummer for the Mostly Dead. And he's interested in putting it out on his label. So there's going to be physical copies, and then it'll be available anywhere, books are sold. It's going to have one of those like not very punk, barcode things on the back. And so it'll get reviewed, and it'll be, on, places that you can buy books online. And all kinds of, it should be pretty legit. I'm also going to do the old school go around to record stores and bookstores and put it on consignment. I mean, cool. I'm sure I'll be able to put it in some of the record stores around our area and in Richmond and things like that. And, it's exciting. I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm stoked to fucking read it, man.
Well, I will send you guys a copy. How about that? It'll
That would be
like
rad.
a free.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to be fun. It's going to have flyers and from Avail all the way up to Ruin by Design. It'll be like in a timeline.
Awesome.
It's looking really good. Zach from the Mostly Dead in his Feast Famine Productions is putting it together. Every time I see what he's been working on, I'm like more excited about it. Like it's going to be like a grown-up book. Like it's going to be a real thing, like with a spine and stuff. It's going to be neat.
Awesome. Well, in that vein, speaking of, since, I guess, immediately here people know you were the original singer of Avail. I don't think a lot of people know that they can go download and listen to all the Avail stuff from when you were in the band for free online. So you want to go ahead and plug that now as well?
Well, sure. I mean, so around the 25th anniversary of the first release, which was called Each Other, we did two sort of demo albums proper. They're about 10 songs each. In 1988, we put out a demo album or whatever it's called Each Other, which is 10 or 11, I think 10 songs. And then we did another one in 90 called Reaching Out, which, we pressed a lot of copies of that. Mm-hmm. And then around the 25th year, I talked to, some of the original members and then some of the members that were on the Reaching Out recording, and out of the Reaching Out recording, we picked 4 songs that ended up on a 7-inch called Who's to Say What Stays the Same, that actually came out after I left. But it ends up being about 21 songs, and we decided to put it out and press, some CDs, but then we put it out on Bandcamp. I think it's under my name, Brien Stewart, Bandcamp. I'm so awful. Like I don't know if you can see this, but I'm operating with a flip phone. This is how I rock and roll these days. Actually, not just these days, all days. it's $20 a month, and I can do the texting, and I can talk like on the phone like a real person. So
that's all you
I'm
need.
good.
That's all.
So
you need.
I'm not the most tech savvy guy, but I think if you just look up, if you go to Bandcamp or SoundCloud and you type in Avail each other, 89 to 90. I think it's. I know it's there because I've seen it. I've gone to look myself, and I know it's there. And people tell me it's there, and I believe them, and I've seen it myself.
Cool. Yeah, I'll find it, and I'll add the link to the podcast.
Please, please. I mean, it's all free. I mean, the original demo is funny. We sat around and did tape to tape.
Oh wow!
And we made 100 copies. 100 copies, tape to tape. It took forever. Yeah. And we had little cutout stickers that we made with spray paint. We stuffed the envelopes. And then the second release, we did the Reaching Out one. We made I think in the end, we ended up pressing about 600 copies, which back in those days was like 1 million.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And they're long gone and all that. And every once in a while, somebody will pop one on Facebook and they'll take a picture of it. Look what I found in a box from my college days. And they'll send it to me. And I always crack up because, it was a fun time. And it's neat to see 30 years later, folks are still stoked about it, and
for sure.
Those recordings were a big deal. Those were a fun time. Those are people's first introductions to whatever. That whatever it meant to them at the time.
Right.
Shit, I was super stoked about them. When you told me about them, like being up on Bandcamp or whatever.
Right. And I send you the cover or a demo? Did I send you something?
Yeah, you totally sent me a little package with some Ruin by Design stuff and
but that cover I put together, and it has old flyers and sort of the story, and we just thought it would be fun. We made some stickers, and again, in honor of the first effort, 100 copies of the cassette, I only pressed 100 of those CDs. That's it. And I gave them away, so I'm not laughing all the way to the bank. That ended up probably costing me money, and I don't care, like I'm a grown up. I have money in the bank and stuff. Like I'm not worried about it. I have a credit card. I can charge things. Well, it's a debit card, but still,
No, it's way cooler being in a band when you're older, when you could actually pay for some things.
Yeah. You guys want to record some music? Yeah. $100. No problem.
Yeah. That's all.
Or I did this. I don't have to get money for it. I already did this. I would just like to share.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I tell that to people all the time. I'm like, you put in the effort to write these songs and learn these songs, go record these songs. Why not spend a few more $100 and press it on something and put it out, So you can look back in a few years and go, look, I did that. That's an official thing, So I've been very fortunate in the music I've made over the years that everyone's down with that. Like everyone's like, no, let's press a 7-inch. Let's put out a cassette. Let's make some CDs. Let's make something happen,
Cool.
So I've been very lucky that way. And I've a lot of stuff documented, I think, properly or as good as we could muster,
So having been in the DC area scene for the past 30 years, I'm from Maryland and I live I grew up out between Annapolis and Bowie, and the biggest band for us when I was in high school were the P-Tanks. Did you ever cross paths? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, funny. Yeah.
Funny.
I met those guys. First of all, best name ever, right?
Totally.
You can't top that one, right? And funny is one of the coolest dudes ever, right?
Yeah, he really is.
We're still cool. We're still buddies on. We're friends on Facebook, man, and in real life.
So much.
It's great. Yeah. And I see him every once in a while. I'll go. Before the world was burning with this pandemic, the world on fire. I would see him down at the sound stage or in Baltimore somewhere, and he and his wife are just chilling, and he's got his kids on Facebook. It's so cool. But I met them when I was in Product. I was in a band called Product in the early 90s, and so we would play with them around, Richmond or whatever. And I remember we were doing a little tour, and we were in the middle of where were we? Not Wisconsin. We had played Wisconsin, but we were in Kentucky or somewhere. Mm-hmm. And they're on the bill, and I was like, "Wow, how cool!" We knew somebody there. It was the weirdest thing, Yeah, it was like the P-Tanks and the Scants and us,
Nice.
and some other bands, but it was just neat. Yeah. They've always just been great. And P-Tanks were great.
Yeah, it's funny. They were like probably 3 to 4 or 5 years older than me. And Mike, the bass player, was a substitute teacher at my high school.
No, wow.
So he would be like, they'd be like, all the punk kids in the class would be like, "Oh shit, it's the bassist for the P-Tanks."
Right. You know what's funny, man, is our new guitar player who's been in the band over a year now. His name is Andrew Rooney. He's a teacher. He's a history teacher.
Oh, cool.
He's a buddy of mine too, actually.
Our bass player teaches algebra.
Nice.
So we have 2 teachers in our band. It's pretty neato. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Must be the punk rock job or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it totally is. Oh, it totally is. I'm super stoked that Rooney joined you guys. Actually, he's
oh my god.
Yeah, he lives in the same city here that I live in. Like, we've been there for a while. Yeah.
Having him in the band is like, it's not just a breath of fresh air. It's like a tornado breath of fresh air. Like, he's just got so much energy and like focus, and he writes these like ripping songs, and we've got like 10 slam dunk killer, almost too fast for me to comprehend punk songs that we're learning and we're putting the finishing touches on, and we're going to go start recording in March.
Awesome.
For like a 7-inch. We're going to cram like 6 or 7 songs on the 7-inch because they're all 100 miles an hour in a minute and a half.
That's the best.
It's going to be great. Like, Rooney, super old school. And he writes like these killer songs.
He is. Rooney is, he's got like an old school punk rock soul inside him, man. Like he's, it's like, it's full of energy.
He's down, man. You're just like, dude, you want to go do this? He's like, hell yeah, let's go. He's just super down. So, by the way, I listened and looked around. I listened to the entire Richie Ramone show.
Oh, cool.
Wow. So awesome. I couldn't stop listening. I listened to it, every bit of it. I saw him when he came through and played Slash Run, and thank goodness, and I was so that guy. I bought every piece of merch you could get. I had him sign stuff. I had the book, to the point where I had a record flat, like a record store flat, or Halfway to Sanity. You know what I mean? Like, I was completely that guy. I was right in the front. I knew all of his solo material, and I was like singing it all to him, just like a maniac, and I'm sure after the first hour, after the first hour, he was like, "All right, kid, get out of my face," like.
Yeah, the night before that show, he played my band open for them in Annapolis. And
oh my God,
I had him sign the head of my bass guitar.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Because I forgot the book.
I was gonna go to that. I was gonna go to that show too, just to be that guy, because I knew I was gonna go to DC, but I was gonna just go to that one too. But I couldn't get anybody to go with, and I didn't have like a stupid GPS at the time. There, and I was like, I'll get all lost because I'm old now. I don't know what I'm doing. It's so crazy. Back in the day, we would drive to Maryland and not even know what we were doing or have a cell phone, and we'd get there. And now I can't even go to like Fairfax without a GPS. It's so ridiculous. My son has to help me with stuff,
Ron, what'd you ask him? You're like, I know I'm a bassist and you're a drummer, but will you sign my bass head? Is that?
I don't. So I bought the book before the show. We played with them, and I read it, and I just didn't bring it with me. So I wanted him to sign something. I forgot the book. And so I was talking to him. I was talking to him after the show, and I was like, I was like, the book is awesome. He's like, well, where is it? I'll sign it for you. I was like, I didn't bring it. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, you fucked up, Ron.
Just kind of like when Matt was late for the podcast. It's like, why the fuck are you late?
I did the same thing.
I know. That was great. That was great. That was great. But yeah, that was a great show. It's neat to be on the same show that he was on, because I really love his Ramones albums, and I love his solo stuff is really, really good.
Yeah, his solo stuff is great.
So I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
really
hopefully he said they're going to try to tour again in the U.S. in September, so we'll see.
Yeah.
What was your so all right, we've touched on Avail and we touched on some stuff, relative to that. What led you to Ruin by Design after like Avail went to Richmond and
well, I mean, there's a big window of
huge
stuff between 1990 and Ruin started in 2015. So, Ruin by Design started, we have Kurt and I have a mutual friend, this guy, Brien Stewart. And, Kurt and I are maybe the biggest Kiss dorks like on the planet. Like it could be possible. Like, you know, at the time I had a whole shrine, a whole bedroom dedicated to Kiss. Like I'm not even embarrassed. Like it was pretty rad, you know? And so Brien kept telling Kurt, like, you gotta come and hang out with Brien. And he kept telling me and to hang out with Kurt. And I'm like, yeah, bring it on, man. I got it all. Like whatever you want to do, we can hang out, you know? And we had played, I had met him. I knew him around the scene. I mean, when I was in BSR, he was in the Mostly Dead and we played some shows together. And so I knew who he was and I had seen him at metal shows. And then I don't know, one day he was just like, hey, you want to hang out? I'll come and check out your Kiss collection, you know? And I was like, yeah, dude. So he came over and he's like looking around and he sees I have everything strategically placed, you know, Paul, Gene, Peter, Ace, you know, just like, and he's picking up the vibe and he's looking through my vintage magazines and he's understanding the way I have my CDs arranged. And before we're even done with the evening, he goes, you know, we really should be in a band together. We really should start a band. And I was like, I agree. I think we should. And so we kind of made a pact that night. But the rule was we wanted to start a band primarily so we could have a vehicle to talk about Kiss with. So like while we were in the van touring and at band practice, we wanted to just have a vehicle we could talk about Kiss. So the rule was, you can't be in this band unless you like Kiss. And we really do talk about Kiss like pretty much all the time, like non-makeup, doesn't matter, makeup. It's a little bit much, like, you know, for some.
So it's a band and a Kiss fan club, kind of.
It's never too much for me. Yeah. So we get our bass player, you know, Andrew Blitch, and he likes Kiss. He's cool with Kiss. Mm-hmm. Like his brother was a Kiss fan, Carter Blitch, and he's down with Kiss. He's cool. He's learning. We're schooling him about Revenge, you know, Live 3, you know, some stuff, you know. He's down. He's in. But we get our first guitar player, this guy Brent Smith, who is such a sweet guy, and he's not a Kiss fan, but he's not a Kiss hater.
Okay.
So we compromise.
You can work with that.
We're good. We can work with that. And so Brent's in the band. I mean, gosh, he was in the band for the first 4 years. And by the fourth year, I remember we were having another discussion about the Asylum album or Crazy Nights, or I don't know, you know, what it was. And we were in the van one time or whatever. And Brent was so funny. He goes, wow, all roads really do lead back to Kiss. Like, you know, after 4 years of this, you know, so he wants to leave and we get, you know, we're like, okay, we got to get a new guitar player. And we immediately thought of Rooney because we had did a lot of shows with Brainbuster and we knew Rooney and he's a scene guy. And when I remember calling Rooney, because we were going to go to Europe, to Germany and do some shows, and we wanted him to come and do the shows because Brent couldn't do it because he had a landscaping company and the summertime's a hard time, you know? So Rooney was like, absolutely. And I was like, okay, cool. That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit of politics. But the main thing is, you know, what do you think about Kiss? And and he's like, oh, I hate Kiss. And I was like,
oh,
okay.
No.
So I'm going to ask you that again. But the answer I need to hear is you like Kiss or you can tolerate Kiss. And he's like, no, I don't like Kiss. I'm like, I'm going to ask you one more time. And I was like, because it's really important that you give it a try. So anyway, he's like, yeah, you know, I can check it out. It's cool, whatever, you know. So long story short, Rooney's in the band. And last January, right around this time, I asked Rooney, I said, listen, you know, you're in the band now and Kiss is coming and they're on the end of the road tour. The three of us are going and I'm going to ask you if you'll go, but I really need you to say yes. So will you go see Kiss the end of the road tour with us? And David Lee Roth is opening. And he was like, I will go. And then he goes, can we wear the Kiss makeup? And I was like, absolutely. So he shaves his beard, Andrew shaves his beard. We roll out to the show. There's not enough time. We can't put the makeup on, but we go in and we all see Kiss together. Brent would have never done that. Rooney, a team player to the end.
Nice.
And Rooney's favorite album is The Elder. He loves music from The Elder, and he loves the End of the Road era. So, Rooney. You know, and he can play their beginning riffs to Detroit Rock City. So true story. That's how Ruin started. I mean, yeah, we write punk rock songs and it's great, but really it's all about Kiss.
Nice.
I had a band member in my band that was a very giant Kiss fan as well. So I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Well, the best part of the thing is we're coming back from New York from a show and Rooney's playing us the Jasons, like, this band, the Jasons, and and he's showing us their album cover, and one of their album covers is literally lifted from Rock and Roll Over. He's like, check out this cool album. I'm like, okay, Rooney.
Yeah.
We're going to talk now. I was like, I think you're a Kiss fan and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So he loves the Jasons and we love the Jasons. And
yeah, we had them on Halloween.
Yeah, they're good friends of mine.
Perfect. Yeah.
They're great friends of mine.
Oh, yeah,
they're
great.
On our Halloween. Yeah,
they're great.
They are. Oh, they're huge Kiss fans.
I think we listened to the Jasons the whole way back from New York.
That's funny. Yeah.
I think the whole way.
Yeah, if Rooney was in the car.
They're hilarious. They're awesome.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah, they talked to us for a while about Kiss as well. That's funny. This is the second podcast that we got into Kiss. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kisstory is something to consider always.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna have to like start listening to Kiss. I've never ever got into Kiss.
Start with Detroit Rock City, Ron. That's
Detroit Rock City.
I love that song. I'm not the hugest Kiss fan, but I love that song. Yeah.
What's the best Kiss starter album?
Ooh, wow. The first record I ever got was Destroyer.
Okay.
So
I like that one.
I'm very partial to that album.
That's the only that's the only album I own.
But Lick It Up. Lick It Up's got its moments. Lick It Up's got its moments. We don't judge. We don't judge.
All right. That's an assignment I'm giving myself. Over the next week I'm gonna listen to a bunch of Kiss.
Yeah. Or just go get Destroyer.
Yeah.
You know what?
Skip Beth.
Yeah. You know what got me, Ron, finally for Kiss is like I was always like, but then my friend, like one of my best friends, Phil, made me sit down and watch one of their live DVDs, and every time Ace Frehley, they were like zip lining across the stadium, and like while they were playing, and like whenever Ace Frehley plays solos, fucking smoke comes out of his frets, like. I'm
assuming it must be an amazing live show.
I was like, they're showmen. I can't deny that I fucking like this. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, Rooney liked the show too. There is one band that puts on a bigger show with more fire, more explosions than Kiss. Oh wait, no, there isn't. Yeah, they're the top. They're the number one. Yeah, there's no one bigger.
No,
that's right. I forgot. Yeah, no one puts on a bigger show.
I mean, Iron Maiden tried, but they did not succeed.
No, not even close. No, and I love Maiden. I've seen them like 15 times.
I love Maiden too. Love Maiden. Yeah, but they can't. They don't put on a better show. I even have to admit that Kisses is the best show there is.
Yeah, it's just the biggest. It's the biggest bang for your buck, and it's whatever. Yeah. Gene Simmons would agree.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. He's been saying it since he was fucking out of the womb.
I know, right? So what else you got for me?
Well, I was going to ask you what your favorite place to play in DC is. Favorite venue?
Oh wow, I love DC9. DC9
is that current? Cool. So current.
DC9 is cool.
What's your all-time favorite place to play in?
Well,
DC?
all-time and then current.
Yeah, both.
I mean, I've been really lucky, dude. I've gotten to play. I mean, I got to play the Bayou. I got to play the 930 Club, the Black Cat a bunch of times. I got to play.
Did you play both 930 clubs?
No, not the original one. I almost inches, and then I was denied. So
you played the new.
When I was in LDK, we were supposed to. They opened for the Bayou, and I was going to do that show, and it didn't work out for me. They got another guy, and so that was my little opportunity. But saw my first punk show there. That was really cool, and many others. The Black Cat is awesome. You know where I really loved the Metro. The Metro was really cool. Dante's place was where Dante's ended up being, or maybe it was Dante's. I don't even know. But the Metro was cool.
Like,
gosh, I don't know. I've been really lucky.
Are you talking about?
I love the old Asylum too.
Was it called the Metro Cafe? Is that the place you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right on 14th Street.
You know what was really cool? The backstage, the outside stage at the old Asylum. That was cool.
oldest.
But obviously the 930 Club is really cool.
Yeah.
When we got Lickety Split got to open for Rancid at the Capitol Ballroom too. I mean, I've been very lucky. I've gotten to do a bunch of cool shows with all around DC. So
that place is long gone, right? The Capitol Ballroom, it's not there anymore.
Yep.
I think it's where the sports games are played.
That's right.
Now.
It's one of the things. Yeah.
It's close to there, where the Capitol Ballroom, which became Nation. It's like a whole bunch of giant condo buildings stand there now. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to punk shows there, and then it would after the punk show at midnight, it would turn into a rave. So you'd have this weird mix of punk rockers leaving and ravers coming in.
Yeah.
But you weren't wrong, Brian. It's just like a few blocks from where the baseball stadium is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, DC 9 is probably my favorite little spot since the first time I got to play there. We BSR played our last show there, and I love that place, man. It's just a chill little spot,
I was real sad to hear that the Rock and Roll Hotel shut down.
Yeah, that place was cool too. Yeah. Did it officially shut down?
Yeah.
It did. Yeah. Unfortunately.
That was even before COVID, though.
Oh, where else?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah. They were. I think. Yeah. Oh, and the Pie Shop is also very
cool.
That. That's where I play a record.
When I promote shows, that's where I always put them on, the Pie Shop.
Yeah, that place is. Man, they got it together over there. They got a cool little green room in the back, and they give you free pies. Whoa, what the heck?
Oh, it's the best. They have beer, water, pie, and the whole whole little setup back there. It's great.
Yeah. So that place is cool too. There's DC is neat, man. We've been really privileged for so long. There's never been a shortage of not just venues but cool venues, people who run them. And really care about what they're doing,
go out of the way to make you feel comfortable and
and it's also it's part of the, not to sound like super history guy, but there's a rich history in DC about the spirit of punk rock. I mean, it's been going on for a very long time, and it's been going on very successfully and very steadily. I remember, I write about it in this book, going to the Hung Jury Pub and the East Side Club and, all kinds of neat places. Sometimes some don't last and some last a long, long time. And I mean, the Bayou, what a cool place that was. When I was in LD Kids and we got to play there 5 times, that was really cool.
What are you listening to these days? When if you're driving in your car or something besides Kiss?
Let's see. In the mail today. In the mail today, I got my 12-inch for what is that? Romeo Delights. I think that's what. No, Romeo Device. My Romeo Device 12-inch with I Think I'd Like You Better If We Slept Together. That song. It's got that song on it. But last night I was listening to Come Dance With Me by Frank Sinatra, and then today in the car on my way to work I was listening to Verbal Assaults. Dude, I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
I'm a mess. I've been listening to a lot of Gloria Lynn and Abby Lincoln and Motley Crue, and we got Wasp in the car. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm all over the place.
Awesome. I love it.
First Blood, Last Cuts. It's what you need.
Goddamn right.
That's cool.
And a lot of Beastie Boys lately. I saw that Beastie
too.
Boys documentary. Man, that was good. And I went on a complete Beastie Boys rampage, just absolutely.
That's funny. I was just going to say that I've been on this Beastie Boys kick for the past week. That's all I've been listening to on my way to and from work
Dude, there's the documentary was so well done.
Whenever I hear anything from Paul's Boutique, I have to listen to that album for 3 straight days. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
It is.
I love To the Five Boroughs too. I love To the Five Boroughs. That might be one of my favorite ones, just because it's so it's so old school. I'm reading the book right now.
Oh, do they have a book out?
Yeah, it's called Book. Yeah, but it's really thick.
Okay, cool.
It's really thick. It's a great book. I'm actually borrowing it from our bass player because he read it.
Cool.
But the documentary is great. I think it's called Documentary.
Nice.
Yeah.
But so I've been on a Beastie Boys kick big time. I needed that VHS, Beastie Boys VHS on eBay, and so I got it. I had,
You gotta have
the skills to pay the bills. I used to have it, and I think I should have it again.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So I ordered
not?
it.
So we're gonna play two songs from Ruin by Design. One in the middle of the podcast and one at the end. And Matt had picked out the two songs so he could ask.
Yeah. So the first song we talked about, we're going to play is Lesson. So tell us about like where that song came from and what it's about.
Man, so that's our new single. That single kind of got dropped earlier, well, a little while ago, and then we kind of reintroduced it. It's just an old school raw punk song, and it's actually part of a 3-way split release that's going to be put out on a 7-inch that I think is going to be out in our hot little hands probably next month or the month after that. It's a 3-way split with the LNT.
Oh, cool.
And the Homicides from Pennsylvania.
Nice.
So side 1 has 3 original songs, and side 2 has 3 cover songs, all from the 70s.
Oh, sweet.
Oddly enough, LNT covers Beth, which is this great punk version. And I got to do a little cameo in the middle where we do a little bit of Parasite. I got to be a part of that little breakdown. And then the Homicides covered a T-Rex song. And then Ruin by Design covered this song I've been dying to cover since like the mid-90s called Shooting Star by Bad Company. We revved it up and punked it up. But the front side's got 3 originals, and our song Lesson is the single.
Cool.
And I'd say it's pretty raw, and it's kind of an old school DK Black Flag vibe in the beginning, and it just kind of grabs you and shakes you around. And it's kind of what's to come for where we're going now musically. It's kind of the start of this new kind of aggro aggression that we're kind of into.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, I totally dig it.
And everyone recorded with Kevin Early over at Early Recordings, and his beautiful family. They have a studio in their home, and he just has got the best sound going. So we went over there and we recorded several new songs, and Lesson is definitely one of those songs, and we put it out on this as a single, and it's on the record. So it should be out, like I said, in a month or two.
What about, and so we're going to close out the podcast with Autumn Black Plastic. So
oh yeah,
that
cool.
one.
I fucking love that song. Yeah, talk about that one. So much.
Dude, song. So there's actually, it's funny that song there's a whole page in this book I keep talking about where it's this big long history with the title. But ultimately the song, we released 3 songs on a split CD with our friends Genosha. Their CD is called Merger, and all of this music is on Bandcamp. It's all on our Ruin by Design Bandcamp page, and it's also on Settle For It Records, their page.
Cool.
And we did a split CD with Genosha back in 2019. They did 3 songs. We did 3 songs, 2 original and 1 cover, and we did a song called In Between and Autumn Black Plastic. And our guitar player Brent kind of showed up one day and had this moody riff, and I had been literally sitting on the title of the song since like 1990. You know, I tell this whole story where, you know, back in 85, I met this gal named Autumn Black with my friend Andy. And I thought her name sounded so cool. I wrote it down because it sounded like poetry. And then Autumn Black Plastic was going to be the title of an Avail cassette. And the cassette never happened. So I saved the title. And then like a few years ago, I was just all feeling like, I don't know, like super creative. And I wrote these lyrics that were a little out of the norm for even me. I write pretty emo-y, you know, let's all hold hands and smash through a wall together kind of stuff, you know? And I kind of went on a limb lyrically and I don't know, I tried to just reach a little deeper into some metaphor-y type stuff. And that title just really fit the lyrics. So we put the song together, and I'm really psyched about the song. Like, it's a blast to play live. And
I love it.
In the song, Kurt had always been wanting to sample this one line from Repo Man. And so we sample this line from Repo Man, and it runs through the song, and it works out great. And so it's a neat song. I mean, it's some DC emo, I'll tell you that. It's definitely right up. If you're down with that, you're down with it.
Dude, growing up in this area, there's no wonder why I fucking love this song.
Yeah. It's we were reaching into the, man, you know, the Rites of Spring or I don't know. You know, it's funny. It kind of reminds me of some of that off time Avail stuff too, really. It's kind of got that, it's got that different kind of thing. You know, it's definitely not your standard punk song. You know, it's pretty cool, but I love it. When we play it live still, and it's fun.
Yeah. So you guys got back to practicing in December. I think I saw that on your Facebook page.
Yeah. Yeah. We, so Rooney and I have been working on songs the whole time. Like, I will go to Fredericksburg and we will chill out and we'll get pizza and get all coffeeed up. And then we'll sit around, and he's been coming up with riffs, and we'll arrange. I'm pretty good at arranging ideas. And so we were arranging songs and putting demos together throughout the whole pandemic. And so he was on fire and bored out of his mind. So he was, so he was coming up with like all these songs. So we just started doing scab recordings, you know, on my little handheld tape recorder of him. And so we've been writing the entire time.
That's awesome.
And so we got together a couple of times with our drummer and the three of us, and did a couple of practices, you know, at the Cult House and stuff. And then all of a sudden, just at the beginning of December, I think it was, we rented a space in Arlington, you know, 3-hour blocks, and we just all kind of committed to showing up, and we mask up, and we have this big room. And yeah, the first time we played together in, gosh, I mean, I think it was it 8 months? It was incredible. Wow. And, you know, it was great. We picked up right where we left off. I mean, rolled through the set, and we just started immediately knocking out these new songs, you know. And so we went, I think we might've practiced once at the end of November, all through December. And now we're into January, and it feels incredible. I mean,
it must be so therapeutic to be gone for that long and then come back to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it really is part of who we are, you know, as people, you know. And I don't even know where I'd be, honestly, if I didn't have music in my life. And I don't just mean like me and my cool cassette collection. I mean, like, I like to play music. Like, you know, this is part of what I do, and being creative. And I've written all these lyrics. I mean, I've been writing all the lyrics for Ruin by Design. I think all the songs at this, all the songs. And, but I sat around all this whole pandemic, and I was just writing lyrics and had these riffs in mind. And so we've got this whole album ready to go. Like,
that's awesome.
So we've been really fortunate. You know, I love Alice Cooper, but I didn't write any songs about the pandemic or, you know, whatever. And he wrote this, you know, Don't Give Up song, and it's all about the pandemic, and which is adorable. And his new record's going to be great. It's called Detroit Stories. Check it out. It's coming out next month. Anyway, I love Alice Cooper. Can you ask me how many times I've seen Alice Cooper in concert?
Yes. How many times have you seen Alice Cooper in concert?
Sir, I've seen Alice Cooper 25 times in concert. From 1986 until 2019. So
you've got me beat by 24 times. I've seen him once.
Nice. Yeah.
And he was fucking awesome.
Oh,
it
dude,
was so
he's
good.
the absolute best.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was so good.
Yeah. And he's like, in his early 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he's my inspiration. Absolutely. Yeah. But, so that's, so we've been really having a good time, and, we have a vehicle now to talk about Kiss with and things. And we do. I have many recordings of us chatting about whatever, but yeah, it's just a lot of fun to get back into the game. And we're very careful, and singing with a double gator really bites, but it beats the alternative, me talking to myself alone in my room. So, I mean, it really helps out.
Do you have a time frame at all? Like, even if it's generalized for like your guys' new album?
So, we have a bunch of stuff going on right now. We have this 3-way split 7-inch that is coming out, I'm hoping, by March. And then we have a CD coming out, a full-length CD with 22 songs called Congregation. And it's going to be it's going to have our demo and a single that we did and our second release and some compilation songs. And we covered a couple of really fun cover songs, and then I think about 4 or 5 unreleased new songs. So we're putting this CD out.
So like a B-sides and rarities kind of.
It's going to be. I actually got the master of it from Kevin Early the other day, and it's 22 songs. Okay, and so you may be interested in this. We actually went back and we re-recorded an Avail song called Shine, which is from the Reaching Out demo, and it's on the 7-inch. And we re-recorded that song 30 years later, Nice. And man, I think it sounds really, really good. And my son came into the studio and did there's these cool, like, whoa. So, and he sang those, with
That's
me.
awesome.
And
how old's your son?
He will be 23 years old tomorrow.
Oh wow. Happy birthday.
Yeah. It's
Happy
really cool.
Birthday.
Yes, and he's we're taking him back to school on Sundays. He goes to Shepherd University, and he's digging that. So it's a little spooky because he's been doing virtual school.
Yeah. Oh, is this the first time that he's going to be on campus this year?
Yeah. Okay. He's got one more semester, and he's out of there. Okay. So but so that'll be. I'm not supposed to say anything, but that's the secret track on the Congregation CD. It won't be listed, but it'll be there. It'll be at the end. You don't got to wait 30 seconds or anything. It'll just be there,
Cool.
But so that's going to be coming out, I hope, in early spring. And then we're hoping to have our new 7-inch out shortly after that, because we want to stagger stuff, because that's what you're supposed to do or whatever. And I don't know. But the idea for the new record is going to be really, really fun. We're recording 10 songs. We're putting 6 on a 7-inch. But there'll be a bonus track on the 7-inch that's only on the 7-inch. We're pressing cassette tapes with the first 6 songs, and there will be an extra song that's only on the cassette.
Cool.
And then we're going to have the 6 songs that you can download, but the download will have one extra song that's only on the download. And then if we end up going to Europe this summer, which probably not looking too good, there's a label over there that I think is hopefully they wanted to put out a 7-inch the other summer. So the idea is maybe we'll press the 7-inch that we're putting out now for Europe, and we've saved one extra song that'll only be on that release. Nice. And then maybe in 2022 we'll put all of those 10 songs plus a few more on a CD. So yeah,
nice.
Not trying to live too far in the future, but we're a band of planners. Yeah. We're a band of planners. But it's I just buying singles from bands, especially like Rancid, and you would get the 7-inch, and there'd be like 2 bonus tracks that are only on the 7-inch. And the Clash were really big on that.
Yeah.
And the bands that I admire always put extra songs, and every release that we've put out so far has had some bonus track somewhere. And that's why this Congregation CD is going to be so many songs. And for a lot of people, they're unreleased songs,
Yeah.
So it'll be neat to have them all
that's awesome
on one CD. And of course there should be a bonus track on the CD that tallies them all together, which is what the Shine song will be. And, and that'll sum up all the recordings we did with our first guitar player, making room for Rooney to be on everything from there on.
Cool.
I miss having to hunt shit down like that.
No, I know.
Day when you had to like drive around and find different record stores to find the different. Yeah. I miss doing shit like that, man. I miss going on those road trips.
I worked at Tower Records for the last 3 years. That store was in existence.
The one in Fairfax? In Fair Oaks?
Yeah, in Fairfax. Yeah, store 822 as we like to refer to it.
I used to buy a lot of my records from there.
Well, I am very proud to say I advocated and worked the metal section. I'd go to my supervisor and be like, Tyson's Corner has a metal section. We should have a metal section too. And he'd be like, well, who's going to run it, Stewie? And I'd be like, sir, I will take responsibility for that.
Nice.
But I used to love that. But I would shop around at Tower while at work and work for 8 hours and then leave that store and drive straight to Tyson's and go shop for 3 more hours. And while I worked at there, I learned the discovery of stock transfer. So I would like look up stuff that we didn't have in our store, like 7 Seconds Soul Force Revolution on CD. Does it exist? Yes, it does in Oakland. And I would have it transferred to our store. And then I would buy it, and then the system would automatically reorder it. So then we'd have it in our store. Nice. I got the first 3 Anvil albums that way on CD. I was like, do the first 3 Anvil albums even exist on CD? They sure do in Texas. Yeah. And so I would have them stock transferred to our store, put them in, buy them, and then the system would reorder them. And I'd stand there and wait at the metal section once they were in the system and in the store, and just watch people just minds blow up. Like this is before the Anvil movie. Yeah. Metal on CD. What kind of world is this? This is amazing, and it was just a blast to do. So I still go store to store. It's pretty scary, and I can just pick up the phone and call. Like I know most of the record store owners in the area, and I just, hey Matt, at Smash, do you have this? Or I just drive all the way to DC and go look for it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun. Yeah.
I mean, you caused me to drive a good bit away with it. If you were indeed in charge, that metal section, or it was like metal/punk really at some point in time, section that was at that Tower record was epic. Like that was like one of the best ones that was anywhere. Like we used to drive basically from Fredericksburg. We were a little north of here, but we used to drive up there all the time, take like the hour drive to get up there just to go shopping at the Tower record because the section was so killer.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. It was a good time. And I remember when, Tyson's metal section was great, but they had all the like real scary bands only, like the squiggly line bands that you don't know what that says.
The Tyson's Tower record was not as good.
Or Anthrax, and it was scary and dark. And I was like, no, man, we're going to have, Cannibal Corpse and Cinderella. We're going to have everybody, and so it would be great, Hey, so funny story about the metal section. So I was so into it. Like I wanted it to be so special that I go to my supervisor, Phil Cooney, and I'm like, I have an idea to make our metal section the best ever. And he's like, what's your idea, Stewie? And I was like, I want to go and get metal studs, like the metal studs. Yeah. And I want to glue them on the backboard of the metal section. He goes, no, kids are just going to mess with them. And I was like, no, they won't, because they're going to respect the metal, So I go to Smash and I buy like with my own money, I go to Smash and I buy like 100 metal studs, right? For what could it be? $10 or something. And I bring them to the art gal. Her name was Melissa, and she creates these black, the cards, the divider cards. And she creates these black, she paints them all. And then she squishes the metal spikes and flattens them and then glues them all and puts them in a line. And it was beautiful, man. Kids were picking them off like the first day. And I was so pissed. And I was like, and I caught a couple of them and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Like,
That's awesome.
They were like, what's your deal, old man? And I was like, this is our metal section, our metal community section, man. Don't be messing it up. And those cards were gone in the first week. But we try.
But you made some kids happy.
Yeah. And I wanted there to be I wanted the metal sign to be, of course, made out of metal. And my boss was like, no, we can't have sharp objects. People are going to get hurt and stuff. And I was like, damn.
That's funny.
There was a couple times when I drove an hour to go to that record store to buy fucking albums that came out that I couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah. stores like that, I there's a hole in my soul, man. Like I miss
I
know. That, you know.
Me too.
Yeah, we had a huge one in Annapolis, and it was just cool because if when we were teenagers, if there wasn't anything going on, we just go to Tower Records and just
Oh, dude,
check. It's just
and it was open till midnight.
Yeah. Yep.
Buy records till midnight.
It was open till midnight, and I remember putting the kids to bed. And then going to Tower Records from like 9 to 12 and just looking at magazines, And I remember one time I was trying to get a part-time job, and I was at Tower Records, of course, talking to my friend Rob Moore. And he was like, I was like, man, I need to get like a part-time job. That'd be really good. I was a stay-at-home dad. He goes, why don't you work, here at Tower? And I was like, loser, could never work at Tower Records. He's like, what are you talking about? Of course you could work at Tower. So I ended up getting a job there. It was awesome.
And
I am not worthy of here. I actually saw, and I don't count it as one of the 25 shows. I saw Alice Cooper play in the Annapolis parking lot.
Really?
During the Hey Stupid promotional tour. He did, I think, 5 songs. Yeah, and I don't count that as one of my 25 times seeing him, by the way.
Wow.
If you want some great behind-the-scenes Alice Cooper stories, so one of the podcasts that I listen to is Gilbert Gottfried, the comedian.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So he has a podcast. It's called Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast, and he has like actors and stuff on. But he had Shep Gordon on one episode, who is Alice Cooper's manager. And it was like an hour and a half episode, and he was just telling stories about from when they first met until some of the stories that they have that he told about Alice Cooper and the shows, and it's hilarious and amazing. So if you want to look up Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast, the Shep Gordon episode, I know you'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, Shep Gordon is incredible. There's a whole documentary film that Mike Myers produced called Supermensch or something. I don't know.
Supermensch.
Yeah. That is an incredible movie. That dude has got his hands in a lot of amazing pies.
Yeah.
That dude he invented the Rockstar Chef and things.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
I like pie.
I love pie. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I haven't met a muffin that I didn't like either. Banana muffin's kind of not too good, but others are good.
Yeah,
What's your favorite muffin? What's your favorite muffin?
All time.
Ooh, blueberry. I'm gonna stick with. Actually,
this is why we're friends.
Stick with chocolate. It's always safe. Blueberry chocolate. Blueberry chocolate.
I think corn muffin is the king.
Oh, corn! You're a corn muffin guy?
Wow!
Hell yeah, I love.
All right,
that's kind of that's not very exciting. That's like kind of a grown-up thing to say.
It's extremely exciting.
Okay, all right. I love carrot cake. Like it almost sounds like healthy.
I do love carrot cake.
What's that all about?
Ron's the most bland half-white guy ever.
I love
corn muffins.
As exciting as vanilla. Vanilla.
All right, so Ron, you had to have had a relative that was really good at making cornbread or corn muffins.
No, actually, nobody in my family has ever made that before.
What?
My family is Italian from New York. We don't do corn muffins and stuff like that. But
you did.
Or a good experience.
Where did you?
One.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the love for corn muffins?
I don't know. One day I had a corn muffin. It was good. That's it. I don't remember. I don't remember my first corn muffin experience.
You're gonna kill me.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I got you there. I can't remember my first blueberry muffin either. It's been a long road.
I remember the first time I tasted sriracha, the hot sauce. I have problems. So.
Was it good or was it bad? Hold on, I got it out.
It was great.
It was great. I mean, it is great.
I was in LA and we went to what's that place with E. coli back in the day? Jack in the Box. Remember they had that E. coli outbreak? I got a Jack in the Box taco at like 2 a.m. and I had sriracha on it.
Have you had a Jack in the Box experience, Brian? Ever?
We had a Jack in the Box in Reston back in the.
Are you serious?
In the day.
That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago.
Wow.
Like a really, really long time.
It turned into I believe it turned into a Roy Rogers maybe, and then a Popeyes.
It was in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken.
Now it's a Thai restaurant.
Have you?
But originally Jack in the Box.
Have you ever been out west and had a Jack in the Box experience?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, I've been a vegetarian since I was 18, so we don't. I don't mess with the.
Yeah, there's no reason to go to Jack in the Box.
Yeah. Good for you.
I don't get any wilder than the Impossible Whopper at Burger King these days.
Those are good. The Impossible Burgers are good.
Yeah, I'm not a vegetarian.
No complaints
Those things
here.
are fucking, like that's a great option as far as fast food goes. Fuck yeah, it is. It's fucking great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Go to Maine.
Well, this has been fun. I appreciate you guys having me
man.
on here. This is neat.
Thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But
Well,
that would be nice.
Well, Brian,
We're actually planning to do a live podcast, I guess, like everybody else, probably from our practice space.
Oh, sweet.
At some point. I'm hoping soon. Once we get our new stuff wired, and then we've been learning the catalog now.
Cool.
We've got well over 30 songs. Like, and Rooney's doing a great job and popping them off, and I think we're about halfway there. I think we got about 15 or 16 of their original ones wired, plus the 10. But he's been learning our whole catalog at this point, and so we're hoping to do a live podcast at some point that we'll film and
let Matt know the date, and we'll promote it on our site.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
And I'm not even sure when that is. We're just in the talking stages right now, but yeah. So yeah.
When it happens, shoot me an email or a text or something.
Totally, yeah.
And
Well, now I have your cell phone number, so I can just send you
There
a
you go.
text.
Text
All
it.
cool kids.
Also, here's to playing another show together when all this crap.
Oh, I know.
Too. Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah. That'd be great.
If my band even continues, I mean,
I hope they do. I hope. Savage Remains awesome, man.
but even if we do, like, we'll definitely make this happen.
Well, the rule is if your band breaks up, you start another one.
Yeah,
that's
right.
the way it works.
Yeah.
Because
That's true.
I mean,
That's it.
I've already got a
keep
couple
it
other
going.
little. I think I've got a studio project in the works with a couple other
There you
people
go.
too. So yeah.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like when you're our age and you're still doing it, it's like a little late to give up now.
Right,
Like you might as well just ride this to the end, right?
Like, what do you got to lose?
Otherwise, you get to that point when you're 30 and you're like, well, oh God, I'm 30. Is it time to just cut my losses and move on and go to McDonald's and surrender? Or do I just continue to do this,
Yeah.
And then you hit 40 or whatever and you're like, well, now
Yeah.
I'm in,
Now
and
this
then
is
you
me.
hit 50 and you're like, I'm like 51 years old. Like now if I give up, I'm just a quitter, at this point,
I don't get.
I'm just going to
look
ride
back.
this to the bitter end,
So true.
All right, guys.
Well, happy birthday to your daughter, and good luck taking your son.
No, our son is turning 23. Our daughter is like even older than her. It's
good.
amazing.
That's right.
Life is weird.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I will let him know that you send your
Awesome.
your
Please do.
praises
Please
or whatever.
do.
Awesome. Take care,
Take care,
Brian.
guys.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Your bet. Take
All
care,
right, man. Bye.
Thanks, Brian. Later.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Have a good rest of the week, and go check out Punk Rock Joe for some coffee. Go buy some coffee. Go check out stupidradmerch.com/Gentois, GENTROIS, to check out merch from our artist. And check out the Handsome Scoundrels at thehandsomescoundrels.com. We use their song for the intro. They are a punk band from Mobile, Alabama. So, anyway, thanks for being with us tonight. We talked to Brien Stewart. Super cool guy. We are going to end now with a song from Ruin by Design. This song is called Autumn Black Plastic. Thanks again for hanging out. We will talk to you next time. Here is Autumn Black Plastic from Ruin by Design.
A lot of people don't realize what's really going on. They feel life is a bunch of unconnected incidents things. They don't realize that they're just like a lattice of coincidence that lays on top of everything.
Let's revel more blaze and empathy glows. We can distance ourselves, but our minds always follow. As our past rings out and our wishes are awash, we will not collapse under the weight of what it was.
cosmic unconsciousness.
A thousand stars